Hi there, and welcome to this week's video. I'm Melissa Nielsen. If you're new here, I talk about parenting and partnering and all things Waldorf homeschooling, so welcome. So today I thought we would talk about what happens if you're coming to Waldorf later than, say, early childhood. And I want to talk about that in two aspects because we have some people that are coming from a public school setting, so they're really wanted to try Waldorf, but they've been in sort of another school setting, so they're homeschooling and they're trying Waldorf, so there's two hurdles there. And then we also have families that maybe they're homeschooling with a different method, Charlotte Mason, classical, or something like that. They want to come and try Waldorf. So I thought I would talk about both of those things because they're kind of the same, kind of not the same. But let's first tackle if you're coming from public school into a Waldorf homeschooling environment. So first of all, welcome home. Homeschooling, it can be one of the most rewarding journeys that you take with your children, and it really is a journey. It's got all kinds of challenges, but it also has so many blessings. So if you've decided that you don't want your kids in the public school system or another school setting, and now you're bringing them home, I just want to congratulate you for really stepping in there and taking on this mantle of responsibility that is their education. I know it can seem really scary, can seem super frightening, and I know people like me make it look really easy. And I want to say I don't try to make it look easy. It becomes part of your culture and your family and who you are. And it doesn't have to be the scary thing that's separate from what you do. So first I want to say, if you're coming to Waldorf, we do have other videos that sort of tackle the nuts and bolts and all the bits of Waldorf education at home and whether or not it's the right fit for you. So if you didn't see those in any of the playlists that you've gone through with us, just drop us a note in the comments and we'll make sure you get those. So with that in mind, we're just going to really focus on sort of this inner peace as you come into this journey and onto this path. So if you've got your kids in another school setting and you're really wanting to try Waldorf, at first I want you to stop and ask yourself, why do I want to try it? What do I know about it? Because it's so much more than gnomes and fairies and art. People say to me all the time, Waldorf, isn't it? That's that curriculum where they don't read until they're in third grade and it's all about gnomes and fairies and you guys just draw a lot. Nope, not at all. None of those things. So I want to sort of release you. If that's what you think it is, I want to release you because that's actually not what it is at all. Waldorf is a developmentally appropriate method that looks at the child's development at every stage and brings curriculum content for that stage in development. So there is a reason for why we do fairy tales in first grade and why we do saint stories and fables in second grade and why we study Hebrew stories and farming and building and things like that in third grade and why we study the Norse and local geography and history and those things in fourth grade and on and on and on. And like I said, we have many videos on those. But really what I want you to focus on now is asking yourself, do I know? Do I understand those things? If not, you might want to pause this and hop on over to one of those other videos. I'll try to link some of them here in the comments. And I know if you're watching on Instagram, it doesn't work that way, but we'll actually put a playlist in our bio so that you can go and hop on that playlist and check it out. I want you to have all of the tools that you feel like you need in order to make the decision to walk this path. So as you're sort of going within, what I want to tell you is Waldorf is incredibly healing. I was not educated all the way through with Waldorf. I went to Waldorf kindergarten when I was very, very little, kindergarten, 4, 5, 6, in Germany, in a little town in Germany where we were living because my birth father was in the military and we were stationed over there. It was near Stuttgart. And so I got to have that space as in early childhood. We left there when I was 6. And what was interesting about that is that my mother, who was very young, she was 18 when I was born, so 24 when we came home, 24 when I was 6 years old. We came home to the United States, and so she had already soaked all of that in. She had understood this idea of not having a lot of TV, not having a lot of external things for play or all those extras that we feel like as parents we need to do. She already was in that sort of minimalist mindset. And that sort of carried through my childhood, even though I didn't go back to Waldorf. We didn't come to the United States and I didn't go to a Waldorf school then. I went through public school. I went to private school in high school. I went to a private Catholic school. And then as a parent, when I had my children, I knew I wanted to homeschool. There was something there about that. Knew that there was something about the school system that I just was not really wanting to put my children in. And my oldest is now 24, so this was 24 years ago, and I was having these conversations with my now ex-husband, and he was on board. He was like, yes, of course. He had also been through the public school system. And I don't want to hate on all teachers or anything, because there are some pretty amazing teachers in public school and in private school, in Waldorf school. To have the calling to be a teacher is a pretty huge calling. And I just want to say that there are some pretty amazing teachers that really try to put up with all of the restrictions they have, put up with, new mandates and testing and blah, 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 and all the things, right? So they're there for the children that need them. And I honor those teachers, but I know that's not everyone's experience. Many people don't have a great experience in public school setting. So those are the families that are often bringing their children home. For one reason or another, you're watching this video now because you wanted to bring your child home into a home setting. So I want you to just really dive deep and know what it is that you are wanting from this journey. Asking yourself, what do I want here? Do I want more connection time with my kids? Do I want a curriculum that's really rich? Those are the things that you should know as you're coming into Waldorf. Yes, there's going to be work involved. It's not open and go. You can't just open a textbook and go, because there are no textbooks in Waldorf and there are no worksheets in Waldorf. I know, big shock. Pick your job off the ground. It's okay. Your child will learn. We do things in Waldorf called main lesson books, and that's like a record of your children's learning, and it's so much fun. I actually keep a main lesson book with my children so that I can have all of their lessons planned out, and it's a lot of fun and a lot of healing for me as someone who came from that public school setting. So let's talk about if you're somebody who is coming to Waldorf from another homeschooling method. Let's talk about that. Let's again go within. Do you know why you're wanting to come to Waldorf? Often families will say to me, I don't know why, it just feels really right. So that's great. That's a really good start. It's a really good start. Often families feel like they should come to Waldorf because maybe they've got a child that's highly artistic. They really want to dive into that piece. That's a great reason, but it shouldn't be the only reason. Waldorf, again, is developmentally appropriate curriculum for the right period in the child's life. So you should also expect that you're going to stretch, like a lot. So when you're planning out your lessons, again, because we said there's no textbooks, right? But we, in our program, we teach you how to do that. We have a Waldorf homeschool teacher training program called Thinking, Feeling, Willing that comes with your curriculum. So we sort of help you do all of those things. We teach you how to be a teacher. And that's one of my absolute favorite things to do. I absolutely love my calling for that. But with that, as you're learning to be a teacher, you're going to learn to also be the artist. You're going to learn to draw. You're going to learn to paint. You're going to learn to model. You're going to learn to knit and sew and all of those other things that come with it. So if you're freaking out and that scares you right now, just want you to just put your left hand over your heart and take a deep breath and go, okay, why did I want to go on this journey again? And don't think that it's too hard, because even though there are challenges and even though you have things that you'll have to encounter, it's not so hard that you can't do it. And I promise people like me are there to hold your hand. So again, if you're part of our program, we hold your hand. Every week we have what I call office hours, where you get to come and chat with me face to face, and we help you with all of the challenges and hurdles that you may have. And we also love listening to the wins too. So I want to just tell you that you have a cheerleading squad behind you. It is an amazing journey. And the biggest thing, regardless of if you're coming from a public school setting or another homeschool setting, the biggest thing you're going to have to sort of step aside from is probably yourself. And really just ask yourself, okay, why am I here? What is it that I want? And am I willing to learn? Because if you are teachable, you can do this. If you are teachable, I will help you. If you are teachable, your child will soar in this method. If you fight it the whole time, then you're going to struggle. So I want you to dive in, and we've got questions that come up, and they're going to come up. They're going to come up. You're going to have questions. Why do I have to teach this? And why am I teaching that? And oh my gosh, we don't believe in this religion. Why are we studying it? All of those things, right? Because Waldorf is not religious, but we do study religions because that helps us understand cultures. So when we're talking about, raising children that are of this world but not worldly, we really want to help them understand culture. And in order to do that, we have to know what people believed. We have to know how they lived, and we have to know and understand who they were at their core. And in order to do that, we've really got to study all of the pieces of them. So we study how they lived. We study what they believed. We study what they ate. We study the stories that they tell their children, all of those things. So when you're struggling, the biggest thing you're going to have to do is really learn to ask for help and to realize that it's okay. You can be challenged and you can learn. We live in this time where everything seems to need to be so fast, right? Like we have to know like this. And really, true confidence comes from doing. So if you get going on something, you're like, oh no, I get overwhelmed. I get you. You should take a deep breath and you stop and you just decide, okay, what's the one step I can take forward? And sometimes the one step forward is hopping onto our support group and asking for help, dropping us a message and saying, hey, wait, I'm stuck. Those things are sometimes the best first step. Or just diving into the reading, taking a deep breath and knowing that it's okay that you don't know everything, that you are on the path. So I hope this was helpful. I know we have so many families. I'm recording this on March 2nd of 2021. We still have a lot of families that are coming away from public school right now, looking forward to the fall, but also switching right now mid-year, and families that are coming from other schooling methods, really wanting to understand the holistic nature of Waldorf. So I hope that that's a little bit helpful. Drop us a note if you've got more questions. I'm happy to help. See you later.